All right, this is the Porsche 356A. Let's see what. I just want to show you a couple things before I move on. Wasn't really paying much attention to it before, but this line here, it kind of goes crazy all over the place. Is the brake line from front to back. I don't see it to be in peril right now, but in the future, I would like probably to run it correctly. Usually that's generally put out of the way. That's probably what goes under these brackets all the way to the back. Again, this is all this, from the Porsches I've done from bare bodies on a rotisserie to fully assembled. One of the things I learned was all this stuff in the middle goes in first. You can't do it after the transmission's in, and I think that's probably what they ran into, was they put the engine trans in and then had to figure out how to run the brake line with the transmission in the way. So you end up with this kind of crazy routing. If I thought it was a concern, it would be taken care of right now, but I'm not too fond of it, but I don't see it as being critical. This is your heater control valve. You can see they just kind of tied the metal ends in a knot. It's a heater, so I'm not going to worry about it today. I want to get you guys driving and enjoying this. I can fix the heater later. I don't even know if you even want it. You can decide. Maybe you'll never drive it when it's nice to have some heat. It gets down into the 60s or even 50s where you can still drive it, although you don't have any windows. But whatever, you decide. I got the fuel line routed. Can't even really see it, but it's out of the way of everything. Fuel line is completely safe. I got a zip tie in a couple spots, but it's safe. Nothing's touching it. Nothing's rubbing against it. This is super smooth. Any rough shifting is back at the transmission. There's nothing I can do about that at this point. Pedals are in, clutch feels good, brake feels good, throttle feels good. It's quite a difference from before. I took the passenger door apart and lubricated everything. It was all dry. One thing I did on both doors I didn't mention is that it kind of took all my strength to push this button before. It was actually incredibly stiff. I'm a pretty strong guy. I use my hands all day, so if I notice it's too tight, it must be pretty bad. So I actually disassembled both of these assemblies and cut some of the spring down, and now it feels normal. It probably could be a little bit lighter than where it is now, but it went from like all my hand strength, to what I figure is probably a normal amount. And then, so going back to the heater, you don't have a heater right now at all, the way it's hooked up, and there's no adjustment for it. I'm going to put this up in the air and I'll show you what it looks like on the bottom. Alright, so this cable here is part of that heater assembly, and here's one, because there's one per side. You can see how much slack is here. So by the time you turn that cable, all you've done is kind of just taken some slack out of this, and you haven't done anything to move any of the heater controls. So it just doesn't work at all. Other thing I started to do yesterday, I got to go buy another tube of grease, but all of these are dry. This one I just did yesterday. No grease came out, so I'm not sure that it had any in there. So this one is completely dry. I don't know if they just put it on there and then wiped it off like super clean. These two are dry. That one I just added some, and then the top one I ran out, so I'm going to go get another tube of grease today. And these, I'm not sure those have any grease, so going through and greasing everything. So I'm not sure that it has been. Well, these tie rods are sealed. It's a more modern thing. So a lot of the problem I've had with this thing is a lot of it was assembled dry. I'm hoping the steering will feel better with some grease in it, and then I still have to address that. That drives me crazy. Well, here's where the brake line comes out. So I might actually be able to change this brake line with the transmission in place. So that's a plus. Well, I don't see it in immediate peril. We can address that later. I want to get you guys to drive this thing, and then let me put this on pause. So today I did pop out the idle jets, and I went to one size larger. I find with today's gas, with the ethanol, there's about 10% ethanol. Alcohol burns at it takes twice as much alcohol to do the same amount as gas. So having 10% ethanol is actually less fuel than 100% gasoline. So it ends up being, the jetting ends up being like 7.5% off. So what I do is I just add 10%, because that's the, so they had 0.5 millimeter idle jets in there, which is in the Solex number is 50. That's a direct correlation. So I did 10% over, so now they have 0.55 millimeter or 55 Solex jet for the idle, and that transformed the machine tremendously. I still have more to go. They're not synchronized. I have to synchronize them. The other thing I noticed is like these accelerator pumps. Can't get in there. You can see this is super long. It's got way too much accelerator pump, so I need to adjust those. I don't know if they adjusted them to help keep it running before, or to compensate for the lean idle jet, but it now you have to be careful, because it actually want to kill the engine. If I just hit the throttle and let off, it gets enough fuel that wants to stall just from that accelerator pump alone. So those have to be adjusted. I'll probably just pop these off. I'll probably just go through and check the float level. The same with the main jet. I'll probably just go up to 10% on those to match modern fuels. I'm gonna double check the timing. When I checked it initially, the mark was right on, but I believe the mark is 0, and this should be like 5 degrees advanced. So I'm gonna double check that, and then I'm just going to tune it. The one thing, I don't know if they ever did it or whatever, a lot of these older cars, you're supposed to retorque the heads. I don't remember on Porsche specifically. I've already run the car today, so it's too late, but tomorrow morning I'll put this up in the air. I'm going to take off the valve covers. I will retorque the heads and check the valve settings, and then continue on with the tune-up. Oh, the carb adjustments and everything. So like so here we are. I still have to adjust the idle. It's a little bit high, but I wanted to show you one thing. Was this now functions? This wasn't functioning before, because the way the cable was set up, the way the throttle was set up, the way the carbs are adjusted. So now you can actually start the car, give it a high idle so it doesn't want to stall right away. Starting very well. It's not really hot, but it's hot. It's warmed up and it's starting very well. So originally we talked about the charger light coming on. And I figured there was a problem with the leg of the charging system, because it's a 2-step setup. But when I noticed, when I adjusted with the dash lights, so this is actually backfeeding. Somehow that's getting power from the dash lights, and it's overriding the warning light. So I have to look at the wiring for that and figure out why that's happening. So that's actually, hopefully better news. But yeah, otherwise, I'm hoping to take this for a spin today. I want to put this interior back. I want to take it for a spin first. And then I'll put, you know, if I'm happy with the clutch and everything's perfect, I'm going to put the whole interior back together. And dropped a little. But yeah, I'm going to move on to the next steps, which is we're nearing the end, which is good. I know you want to get there. So that's my report for now. I will have an update later today or tomorrow morning.